Important reminder.
Say like you have 30 seconds to just summarize all of the things that we could possibly say. What would be the most essential things? And I think reality is a dream.
Any dream you wanted to
Life
dream.
is imagined by the universe.
This is just a ride.
The universe is imaginary, completely mental, and
Pure infinite
reality is infinite consciousness and infinite imagination.
Infinite
You didn't
imagination,
forget like something like this.
or what is otherwise known
Just
as
like, I mean, like every episode kind of like just lays that out.
God.
Did you forget?
You're imagining all of it right fucking now.
All right, maybe we have a podcast instead of then.
The Brain podcast.
Yeah, I think it was good. It was good session.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope no one learned anything, but that it was nice.
Yeah, exactly. This is entertainment, through and through, I guess. Yeah. Really, it's.
Okay. Now that we concluded all of this, shall we discuss the brain? Some cool aspects of the brain. It's divided in two and stuff.
Well, the brain is very interesting, but it's just a very. I think once you get your first whiff or experience of this dissolvement of the whole construct that is your mind,
then I think that you will be scared as fuck and explain it away with something else. Or have a mental breakdown and never
I'm never
going there again.
It might happen. Depends on how your experience goes, I guess. But like what you also might see then after a week or two or some months is that things are pretty fine, and maybe there was something liberating, seeing that your whole life is a construct as well, because it's kind of like the good and the bad is suddenly dissolved.
Yeah.
And also another thing I think we humans are conditioned with due to our limited understanding. We live in the dark ages, basically, like at least metaphysically and like emotionally, I would say.
Yeah.
Is how much fucking bad really there is in our minds.
maybe for you.
Yeah, maybe for me. But I mean, like the whole thing, your ego basically is resistance. It's like a clinging and a like containment of a very finite part of all the potential your mind can be.
Yeah.
So
it feels very tense.
It is very tense, and and that's what it is basically. It's like a tension, So you can that's why in some meditations you can practicing letting go, the whole meditation is just around letting go, whatever arises, you let it go.
Yeah, falling away.
And hopefully if you do it long enough, you can let the whole ego go. It will it'll be you're picking out bricks one by one, and then finally the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
But
memories. Some thoughts, some words on memories in the brain.
Yeah, well, memories are very interesting because they're also very, I think, grounding of our sense of reality, self, and what the universe is. And I think it's also because the whole backstory is integral to keeping our sanity in check. Like a reason to why we are here, who we are, what we are doing, where we are going.
Yeah. I guess it's have less intention if you had less memories.
Less,
places to go, things to do if you didn't have a story on why you would want to do those things.
Yeah.
Like the engine, some sense.
Yeah, exactly. But also it's a rationalization of why this is not a complete infinite free fall of craziness. Why is this stable? And there is there you can come up with reasons for that, and that's what our minds are doing to keep things stable or seemingly solid.
Yeah.
But it's
I think with brains, with the memories and brains, for me, one area we might just say a few words. I think we mentioned it before, but the notion that memories are stored in the brain is kind of loose theory that not really explained at all by anyone any way. So if the brain is not real in that sense, and that was the suggestion here, then that means that the memories are not stored in the brain and cannot be explained solely by the brain. So you will have to kind of reassess what the hell is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
There, like why do all these pictures and smells and feelings appear?
But I think that's what's so limiting about the whole like brain discourse. Because even if you like like saying here, like even if you like you wouldn't like grant that memories has to do with the brain, it's like unnecessary middleman a lot in these discussions. Yeah. Because the brain is like this all-encompassing, mysterious thing, which is supposedly like interacting with everything. As everything is like inputs and outputs in the brain. And memories are like part of the brain. So we, in order to discuss memories, we have to look to the brain.
Yeah.
But also like there's also this reductionistic view of what a brain is. Because okay, so what if it has to happen somewhere here in like this neat body, this like seemingly material construct somewhere in here, like the memories are stored, or
Yeah.
It's very interesting why sorry, yeah.
Have you like some split brain experiments where that has been done, where you can separate the two brain halves for a person, and you can do experiments, because that means that the brain cannot communicate with the electrical way the same way that it does otherwise, because it's a system of systems, so it's always sending these signals. But if you cut it off, the signal, you can do it for people that have like severe epilepsy, for example, if you want to, and then they can't communicate. And what you can do is that you can separate, you put some type of wall, so that the left eye cannot see what's going on the right side, and the right eye cannot see what's going on the left side. So you put like a cardboard wall between the face, so you can only see one thing for one thing. And then what happens is that the arms are connected, since everything is kind of switched in the routing of the brain. The left hand is not connected to the right. Yeah, so you can show an image giving orders to the right eye. And since the right eye and the left hand can communicate, because they're located in the same brain half, you can say, like, pick up this green object here, and they have a lot of objects in front of them. They will pick up the green one. Then they will put another instruction to the left eye and ask, why did you just pick up this green thing? And the left brain will rationalize some type of answer, because the left brain is not aware that the right brain has gotten this instruction. So they will say, no, I just felt like it, or it looked cool, I wanted to feel how it felt like.
Yeah.
So it's also in
always
a sense
coming up with badger stories.
Yeah, but it's also that your brain might not be one thing, the same way that if you look at a family, they act as a unit, but there might be different experiences in that family and in a society and in the world and everything. So why couldn't you have the same thing in a brain, that everything is experienced, maybe not by your version of the experience right now, but things that are going on in your subconscious. Maybe it's your subconscious, but maybe it's someone else's, very conscious. Maybe there are 10 different stories going on right now on why.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's like
listening.
You might be right now in like the part of your or the experience that's happening, like seemingly behind this person's eyes, who is thinks that they are a person, but it's like another part of the brain also aware, which sees everything as God.
Yeah,
it's very interesting. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, so some things about not deja vu maybe, but memories can be triggered, for example, by a smell, or like similar things will set you in a similar mood.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because that means that some parts of your personality and memories are not really located in your brain, but part of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
in a sense, your experience and the citation mark, like consciousness that you experience, is very much related to what's going on outside of your brain as well,
Yeah,
maybe even
exactly.
more. Because if you just have a brain, then maybe you won't have so many other things going on.
Exactly.
Or maybe you would.
You can also throw in like quantum physics into this as well, which is like, supposedly what matter is made of. It's like strings and quarks. And this is not stable at all. Like everything's like superimposed on itself, and all atoms do not have fixed positions. They are like, potentials, and they're like superpositioned infinitely, like in one spot, basically. And nothing is real. But then we have the brain as well.
About that as well.
What?
No, like the science, like the forefront of science right now, and the theories that are there. If you zoom out, instead of looking at the world from your life, the 20, 30, 40, I don't know, 15 years you've been alive, you just zoom out a little bit, like 5,000 years, 10,000 years, maybe even more. And then you look at, like, for example, like alchemy and like, people that had these crazy ideas that were disregarded by our science. And for example, ether, that is like that there is some type of substance that is like where everything happens, where light travels and stuff like that. And we said, like, no way, that would never happen. That we concluded that was wrong, but then we found out dark matter, for example, and dark energy, which is basically, dream stuff. It's not matter, because it's not made out of the same things as everything else in the universe. It's something else, which sounds a lot like all the weirdos and creeps that said things 500 years ago. Maybe it wasn't that weird. Everyone believed it back then. So it's only the last maybe 50 years that I say we now, but I'm going to change that. But we have believed in this current version of the universe and what's going on. And even at this point, it's like really, really, really difficult to convince people about this idea. So it's not like we believe this. It's like a handful of people that believe this, because you have to actually train to believe that you have like these things. They don't come naturally, to believe that the universe is made out of matter and nothing else. And like that's something that you really have to go through a lot of training, and people can tell you a lot of times that that's the thing, that's the way everything is, and it's not the way that you experience it. And I guess eventually you just give in,
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's like social convenience as well.
Yeah, but like 99%,
and like also survival, like in order to like survive, because I mean survival, the mind's survival is not concerned with what's actually true. It's just what keeps me alive, and it's better for survival to buy into the thought system or thought framework of everyone around you.
Yeah.
It's just like evolutionary behavior as well, you could say, if you can get along with with other humans.
What do you call it? Like the mind just wants to survive. One fun thing about this is that I'm not so sure that if you just look at the body and like if you disregard all the fantasies and just see what's going on, it seems that not having these weird ideas is very, very good for long-term survival. If you look at the civilizations that have existed the ones that seem to persist are the ones that do not have these type of ideas, like hunter-gatherers, for example. It seems like a very stable way of living. Some people, of course, die sometimes, but the hunter-gatherers have been living that way for
thousands.
I wouldn't say that they're all hunter-gatherers, but I would just maybe not like civilization building, expanding, like imperialistic kind of ways of organizing.
Yeah,
have worked pretty well if it comes to just surviving as a body, you know.
Exactly. I mean, long term, it would be better than like a society incapable of dealing with like climate change, for example.
Yeah, and that's
what we might or may not be living in. We're not find out, I guess.
Yeah, the Romans, I mean, they were kind of advanced, and I mean, their philosophy, everything was very, very advanced, and I think people back then had it. If you looked at the happiness and the welfare and like everything, I think people had it pretty good back then. Yes, some people died.
Slavery.
Yeah, but like people, slavery is a very relative term. If you see how people are stuck in some type of system in debt, like it's very similar to slavery.
The greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized.
I completely agree. I think that a lot of people live in slavery in different forms. So they even both literally like as the classic definition, but it's also how people are kind of like forced to live their lives in a sense.
I think the easiest way is just look at the kind of. I'm not saying that just because you have wealth you live a happy life. Like I really don't think so. But if you look at the wealth distribution of any society, what you will see is that some people really like to add wealth to them. And my belief, what I'm putting out here, is that if you have a society that have a few people that have a lot of the wealth, that can be an indication that the other ones might be really, really fucked.
Yeah,
by the ones that have a lot of wealth. Right now, that's what's going on. And I'm not sure if you look at the society that is, a bit that works another way. I don't think that the difference between the ones that have the most
it's as big.
Wealth.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also like you rob, I think, yourself as a community of the bliss of connecting into like a group collective, and have fun together. Because in one sense, like the whole totality is like a sum of all of its parts. So, to like share the happiness with everyone is like a bliss that is. But it's also like soon as you if you think about the word materialistically, you can always go down into the trap of thinking that wealth will give you happiness, but it's that depends on your what you think you are in the relation to the universe. If you have come to like some kind of realization that you are identical to the entire universe, then you don't really need much more at that point. You are everywhere and everything.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what more to say on that one.
Yeah.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say,
it's not physical.
It's not in time and space.
You will never die. You were never born. You are the creative universe, and you have imagined everything the whole time.
Whatever you imagine becomes real for you.
Life after life.
And we kill those people.